The Rams squad show is back. The NFL schedule has officially been released. I'm Gavin Carlson, and I'll tell you why the Rams are officially the face of the NFL.
And what to do, squad? It's your boy Brock. And Thanksgiving Eve and Christmas? Thank goodness I'm not on this thing.
And I'm Rob Buska. Brock, you're missing the point. No mother-in-law on Thanksgiving or Christmas? My God, I wish I was playing. The Rams already won.
Whose house? Rams house. It's the Rams squad. Everything Los Angeles Rams every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Here comes the Rampede. The Rams squad show starts now.
Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? The Mob Squad, the Locked On Rams squad show coming back at you live on a Thursday night because we decided to change things up. It is the NFL schedule release special. Right here live on the Locked On Rams YouTube channel and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever the heck you get the Locked On Rams audio podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, I'm Gavin Carlson, 4 years, credentialed journalist in the LA area. To my right on the screen, you know who the heck he is. Rams legend, former captain, first round pick, Big Brock in the building. And to the right of him, the happiest man on planet Earth because the NFL schedule is here. Spent over 2 decades in LA sports radio, NBC Sports, KLOS, Rob Buska. Before we let Rob take the stage and tell us how happy he is, quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show. It is Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Big Rob Buska. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of the Rams and all of that. Well, don't worry. Don't bury the lead, okay? We'll talk Rams, but just what was your day like today? I'm curious how things went today with the international schedule in the morning and the schedule release, or the international schedule yesterday, and then the schedule release officially this afternoon. What was it all like the last 48 hours?
Officially this afternoon, but I got to tell you, man, this thing was leaking like the Titanic, man, all day long. You know, week 12 is this, week 15 is this. We knew that the Rams were going to be playing a Thanksgiving Eve game. I mean, weird. The NFL's never done a Wednesday. Now they're doing 2 of them, this year. So that was interesting. We're starting to get into Friday more. So the thing that jumped out to me was playing the champs twice in the last 3 weeks of the waiting till that long. Both of these teams could have some aging rosters. The Rams are older than the Hawks, especially at that quarterback position. And I think you'd like one a little bit earlier than that. And I get build up in the drama and not seeing him till then. But how many players, when you look at the roster today, are actually going to be healthy and available come that time? When December gets here. So there's a lot to be able to, break down and stuff like that. But I'm happy because I know where I'm going, where I'm eating, what bars we're going to get thrown out of. It's everything, man. I got it all set. We're going to Philadelphia. We're going everywhere. We want to see that jail cell I talked about last show. We want to get thrown in it. Absolutely. I'll get us acquitted, man, all by the second quarter. I'll get us arrested and acquitted by the second quarter. I'm bringing Johnny Cochran with me. Okay, he can sit there. He can help us out. The late Johnny.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is a great day, right? We are reminded on a day like today how lucky we are. I know that we are tortured when you have seasons end the way they have ended in recent years and the pain and agony of being this close, right? But on a day like today, you're reminded how lucky you are as a Rams fan to, like I hinted at, be the face of the NFL, right? What the biggest headline, without a doubt, is that the Rams tie the NFL record and lead the NFL this season with 7 primetime games. That's obviously the big takeaway. Rob already hinted at the Seahawks and what we'll have to face there in week 16 and 18. The first Thanksgiving Eve game is a Rams game. The first not the first, but a Christmas game, and the biggest of the 3 Christmas games, by the way, is a Rams game. We are the face of this schedule release, right? There's no other way to put it. And it's nice. It's nice. It really is. We have plenty to talk about. It's funny. The plan was to go through game by game and make our early win-loss predictions. I'm like, we don't even need to do that today. We have so much to talk about. We'll go game by game and predict if we're going to win or lose. And if we're going 17-0, 16-1, or 15-2, we know we're not doing any worse than that, right? But of those 3, between the 3 segments that we have after this one, we'll get to that like 2 shows from now. There's so much to talk about. Big Brock, I'm curious what you have to say because, like you said, the fact that you're playing on Thanksgiving Eve and Christmas Day, I'm sure you're not pleased about that if you're a Rams player in terms of how your family might be treating things, not to mention an Australia game in week 1. If you were still in the league, how would the family take that news?
Man, obviously, I have a rider, man. My wife is a G, so she would be okay with anything. She understands that's the job that I do. But going to Australia, I've been across the pond a couple of times going to London. So I just know what it takes. The Rams do a phenomenal job doing everything it takes to make sure they're at their optimum potential. As far as doing sleep schedules, they might have some kind of boots or whatever recovery. On the planes, things like that. They do things like when you get off the plane, a lot of guys are tired, things they want to lay down. Usually, the Rams do a good job at not allowing you to lay down. They let you get accumulated to whatever time zone it is. Maybe we might go out, do a practice just to get some sun on us and just get us up and accumulated to the time zone that we're in. So what I do know about traveling, the Rams have done it so much over these past couple of years with, going from LA to London to all these different places. They are professionals at how they do things. So I don't think it'll be an issue traveling. I just know as a player, it's something that's like, man, dang, we got to go all the way here. Like if you're going, across international waters, you might have to leave a couple of days early. So the longer trips is like, you're away from home. But man, just, Thanksgiving Eve and then, back during with Christmas, as a professional, it sucks. It's obviously you can't really do anything. It's the schedule. You got to play it. But I know a lot of the players want to be at home with their families during these times because I think it was a couple of years ago I heard one of my former teammates with the Lions say, while they were playing, man, playing on all those holidays is kind of tough. It's tough, when you're not at home, on the holidays with your family. But it is what it is. You got to be a professional and get the job done.
Hey, Brock, you talk about being a professional and you mentioned family. When there's these games across the pond, does the family travel with you? I mean, I know they're not allowed like on the team charter and flight, but hey, we're going to be over here. You got your own room. The family stays, or is it just mostly a business trip? They really try to discourage that. All the wives get together and have a potluck, down in Manhattan Beach somewhere and watch the Rams play and just kind of let the guys do their thing.
Yeah. My wife was able to travel, I think, once to London.
Okay.
So, to get that, no, you actually twice. One time we went by ourselves and another time we were able to travel with our kids. So, I think it was good just to get our kids to experience, get them a new different, look at history. And, even, we took some sightseeing and, went to look at the palace. So it was, something good about traveling across, the pond, something I probably never thought I would do myself. So I thought it was good to get that experience. But, if you do it one time and then you do it another time, and I think I did London 4 times before my career was over. It becomes redundant, it becomes a business trip. And then, also you're going for a whole week and a half probably away from your family. So you do get, I wouldn't say homesick, but you are ready to get home after that game is done. Get on the first flight out of town to get back home.
What percentage would you say of wives or families travel to a London game? 20%?
I would say in between 20 to 30%. Not everybody travels,
It's more than I thought.
A young team.
Yeah,
if you have a young team where a lot of guys are, early in their career, usually don't have wives and things like that. But if you have a veteran team, where most of the players, 4 or 5 years in, 6 years in, they usually have wives and things like that. They might, and if the team allows them to travel, they might, travel with the team for sure for a game like that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of questions, just Rams specifically and Niners about how the NFL would handle the fact that you're sending two teams across the world, in week one. How would they handle that in terms of what the Rams would get in week two? And the good news for the Rams is I think the NFL gave you about the nicest possible outcome where you're playing Monday Night Football, so obviously as late in a week as you can play a game, and you're playing against the Giants. So you're given the best possible time, and I don't say best possible. It's not like the Giants are the worst team in the NFL, but when you look at the Rams schedule, it's easily one of the 3 or 4 worst teams on it. So the NFL certainly does the Rams a favor there. Rob, I thought what was interesting too is the Niners get the Dolphins in week 2. So clearly the NFL made sure, let's give both of these teams a easier matchup in week 2 so that they're not going up against, the Seahawks in week 2, fresh off of an experiment. Let's be honest, this is an experiment, sending football teams that far, right? So thoughts on both, not just the Rams, the Niners as well, but certainly the Rams in terms of getting the latest possible game against an easy opponent after that week 1 game in Australia.
Well, I look at a bigger picture than that, too. Look where they go afterwards. They go to Denver, you go to Philadelphia, and you host Buffalo. I mean, the Rams, are they going to go 3-0 in those games? You'd like to think so, but at Philly, I think 2-1 would be great. You could honestly see them going to 1-2 during that stretch. Those teams are all capable of beating the Rams. They're all good perennial postseason teams. So, may as well come back and fatten up on the G-men who typically don't travel well to the West Coast. Right. They don't play well at home. They're the Giants, for crying out loud. Every year they're drafting 3rd, 4th, 5th. I can't figure it out with those guys. But I like what they're doing with that schedule there with the Rams, and give them a little bit of a break, a little bit of a reprieve after you get beat up. Now, I also think too, they don't play American football down there. They're going to play this game at a cricket stadium, a cricket field. So painting the lines, this is the turf, the playing surface is going to be used to what we are. There was an article that came out this week about how the majority of the players are trying to tell the NFLPA they want the turfus. Okay, they don't want artificial turf anymore. They don't even want grass anymore. What they want is that turfus, that gives the ground up tires and stuff because it has a playing effect in the field, Mike, they say, of real grass. But the speed of turf, much safer to be able to play on and stuff. What do you think they're going to get over there? Crickets, are they going to have all the little potholes filled in? I mean, you'd like to believe so. You'd hope so, man. It's just the way the stadium is. It's just going to be funky, to be able to watch it over there. It's not a soccer field. It's a little easier to adapt to the soccer stadium that way, but it's going to be fun. Both teams have to take it on. It's not just a Rams problem. It's a 49ers, situation as well, too. I just was not a fan of playing the 49ers over there and taking a home game away. You'd really want that Rams crowd there. The Rams fans, I'd love to hear from you if you guys are out there, in the chat room too. Would you make that a trip? Is that a trip you'd save up all summer to go down there and support your team with? Yeah, Gavs, you're already saying no. They're not. I don't think
so. I don't think, and it's not a diss to any fan or anything. It's just, are you going to fly across the world for one football game? I don't see it happening. And actually, I don't want to bear the lead. When we come back from the break, I want plenty from Rob on the international slate. Because it is interesting. The NFL, historically has given all the cruddy games to the international slate. A lot of good games in these international games, which is interesting.
That's it. One.
Yeah. But before the break, real quick, Rams favored by 2 in this game against the Niners on a neutral site. So what they're saying is the Rams are a slightly better football team than the Niners, given that they're both going against the same travel demands and a neutral crowd. I think, Rob, as much as I hate to admit it, I think Rams fans would have to admit that, and again, Kyle Shanahan liked to throw this out, that the Rams dodged a bullet here and not having a bunch of Niner fans at SoFi. Personally, I like when all the Niners fans show up at SoFi and watch us beat the Niners, but it'll be nice too with the entire NFL world watching this game because of the spectacle that is it being an Australia game. I almost like that more, of letting the whole world watch our Rams beat up on the Niners for everybody in the world, not just in America and in Australia. This will be a globally watched game. I'm excited to watch them all watch that butt whooping.
Right. Plus, what I would also tell you, because I know a lot of fans that listen to this show are out here in Southern California, right? The Dodgers will be eliminated from the postseason by Labor Day. So you don't have anything to save up for, in September. So go ahead and make that trip. Go down there and have some fun. If you guys are down, I'm down. We'll get the visas. Are you allowed to travel again? Are you off the no-fly list, Gav?
Yeah.
This guy's fun.
Let's
all jokes
during the break, right?
Yeah, Rob Buska, all jokes. I got to find a way to come at you on this show. I don't know how I'm going to do it because
your face is at LAX. You and I know that. Have you seen this guy? I've seen him. I know him.
Oh man, we're going to take our break. When we come back, young Russ. Yeah. That's right. When we come back, we'll talk about so much more because obviously the Rams have an interesting start to the season. It gets real tough in the second half. 7 primetime games, that holiday schedule. So much to talk about after our break here on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Now, we obviously are talking the NFL, but right now, at this moment, the NBA playoffs are here, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to the action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. I can't use FanDuel in California, obviously, but when I'm out of the state, I make sure the first thing I do is download the FanDuel app and take advantage because what I love is everything I need is in one place with FanDuel. You can check stats, trends, and matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at a player prop or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement, and it's a really easy app to navigate, which I love, because if you're trying to do live bets, the last thing you want is for the app to get in the way, right? So take advantage. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. Back here live, Locked On Rams Squad Show, the NFL schedule release special. In case you missed the headlines, I'll give them to you real quick. Rams tie the NFL record and are the only team in the NFL this season with 7 primetime games. They get the first ever Thanksgiving Eve game. That'll be Wednesday night against the Packers at SoFi Stadium. I told you they want to put SoFi on TV as much as possible, especially with it being the host of the Super Bowl that the Rams will be in, by the way. So you get a great opportunity for the Ramley to spend their Thanksgiving Eve at SoFi against the Packers, and then you get to spend your Christmas Day watching the Rams play the Seahawks in Seattle. So you don't get to go to SoFi on Christmas, but you get to watch the Rams on Christmas in Seattle. 2 weeks later, the season finale is at SoFi against the Seahawks. Curious. And I'll quickly list the 7 primetime games. We've got, obviously, Netflix week 1 against the Niners. You've got week 2 Monday Night Football against the Giants. Monday Night Football in week 3. It's 3 straight primetime games to start the season. Week 3 Sunday Night Football at the Broncos. Week 5, Monday Night Football against the Bills. You have that Thanksgiving Eve game. Then you have Thursday night against the Chiefs. You have, what else? The Christmas game against the Seahawks. I think I missed one. Did I miss one or did I get them all? I think I got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm missing the 7th. Am I going crazy?
Did you say the Chiefs?
No, I did get them all because the Bills. That was the one I missed. Monday Night Football, Bills. So, yeah, 4 of the first 5 weeks are prime time, and then you've got Thanksgiving Eve, Thursday night, Christmas Day. No, those are the 7. Thank you. I got it. So I probably just confused you guys there, but I'm curious, what do you think the biggest game of the season is? My early candidate, I think it has to be the Seahawks on Christmas Day. Now, I have a coworker at work who is also a Rams fan like myself, and he was arguing with me. He said, no, it does not get any bigger than season finale at SoFi against the Seahawks in what could, if you remember how this season went, it could obviously potentially decide the NFC West. It could also decide the entire NFC Week 18, the last game of the season. It'll surely be a Sunday Night Football game or something like that. But just because it's the Seahawks on Christmas, I'm still going to say Christmas Day Seahawks is the biggest game of the season. What about you, Rob? Do you think it's more the Week 18 game? Do you think it's the Australia game because you're Mr. International, Mr. Worldwide, Pitbull, Rob Buska? What do you think? Biggest game? Or is it that Bills rematch 2 years ago? It was 44-42. You got the Bills on Monday Night Football. A lot of candidates. What's your pick?
Yeah, you got a lot of them, that you could say. I'm going to take a different path here just to be different, okay, whether it's right, whether it's wrong.
Of course.
I'm going to say the game at I'm going to say the game at Philadelphia.
Wow.
I know it's a Sunday. I know it's early. Look how they lost that Eagle game the last time that they played them there, okay?
Yeah.
People talk about Seattle, being the team to take on the Rams to go to the Super Bowl this year. I think the Hawks may take a step back a little bit. And if they do, Philadelphia taking a step up, okay? And Philadelphia is a great team. Plus, we're going to see Mekhi Lemon, right? Okay, but that right there, hosting, if the Rams can win that, because let's face it, they haven't done well at Philadelphia, chronically, over the years when you think about it. So if they can get that game, you win that game, I think that gives you any more confidence, than you can come up with. But there's a ton of good ones. Don't get me wrong. Anytime you play the Niners, it's great. Maybe that Tampa Bay game late in the year, that's all going to depend on injuries, where they're at. Rams have a bad season. A couple guys get hurt, and they're fighting for a playoff spot. Who cares? They may get flexed out of that game. I'm not going to say that's going to happen. We have so many people that think they're going to lose one, maybe 2 games during the year, but there can't be anybody that sits there and tells me that Philly's a free space. The free space on the bingo card. I mean, come on. I'll say that the Eagles will be favored in that game, even if the Rams are favored to win the NFL. I think Philadelphia will be favored at that game until the Rams can prove they can go in there and win. So that's my toughest game, I think, or the game I'm looking most forward to. How do they handle that? Can they close it out? Is special teams going to be a disaster again, like it was last time they played the Eagles? You get past that because there's a mental side to this game, Brock. It's not just a physical. You know that. You get by that one team, man, that's always out there giving you a hard time. Different story, man. But they do get them when the weather is better. I will say that for the Rams. Back-to-back games, man, late September and early October in Denver and Philadelphia. Do you want those December 12th and December 19th? No. No, you don't. So the weather is certainly going to be on the Rams side and help neutralize things a little bit. But win the Philly game, and I'll be impressed.
Look at Mr. Contrarian here, Rob. The Rams have 7 primetime games, and he's talking about the Eagles. I get that one. This guy brought up the game again. Who did you just say? The I don't even remember the other game you said it was so relevant. It might be. You brought up the Bucks game? Or was it? What game did you pick?
Could be perhaps at the end of the year, because the Bucks are going to win the division this year. The Bucks are going to win their division at 3-14, okay, in the NFC South, because that's just the way that division. Those guys suck, man. The entire division is terrible. Those are great cities. Don't get me wrong. Atlanta's a great place with cheap food, good entertainment and strip clubs. We know that. New Orleans is New Orleans. Carolina, and the barbecue, and Tampa Bay for the weather. But their football is god awful all the way through. But could be division leaders, man. Late, it could be a flex, but no, it's definitely the Eagles game to me. The Bills is a good one too. But yeah, you could go for the Christmas. You could go for a lot of showdowns. But who's going to watch on Christmas? Because we all know, just ask LeBron, man. The Christmas is the NBA's night, brother. It's the NBA's night. No one watches anything but the NBA.
Hey, I will say, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not a LeBron defender. I will say that when he did say that Christmas Day, all the NFL games sucked and all the NBA games were amazing. I do remember that. So but let's be honest, as much as I do miss kind of the NBA having Christmas, we know the NFL is king, and we know everyone's going to be watching these games.
And how about the NFL infringing on Fridays too, guys? Remember when Fridays used to be sacrilegious? It's for high school football only. Now the NFL's coming in like a wrecking ball. I want to say Tuesday's now the only day the NFL's never played. After Wednesday, because Tuesdays is a day off. Tuesday's the day you hang with the family. You go play golf with the boys, right, Mike? You go on them little mini yacht trips, have fun and see what comes out of that. But Tuesdays, wouldn't be surprised if that's down the road. Tuesdays.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that certainly Fridays they've taken over. Saturdays they now steal from college sometimes. I will say the Wednesday night, and I'm surprised again that Rob went. I get it with the Eagles. The Bucks was surprising, and also Brock. Did you expect on this show to hear Rob Buska say "Hot Lanta" on a Rams squad show? Because I did not expect Rob Hot Lanta Buska to. I did not expect that one bit.
Brock, Mike and I got history in Hotlanta together. He'll tell you about it.
Oh, jeez.
His wife's out of town. She ain't watching tonight, but Mike and I got a VIP booth at the Tattletale, okay, in Atlanta. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, he's like, I know the Tattletale.
Look at
he went on those LSU trips against Georgia. Yeah, you thought he was in Athens hanging out. No, the boys snuck out to the Tattletale in Atlanta, didn't they? See?
Yeah, look, Rob, yeah, I was going to say, Rob tried to say, I'm at the LAX most wanted FBI list. Look at what Rob Buska was doing in his past. He's the one that's not allowed to fly to Australia. I'll tell you that much. Big Brock, what about you? Biggest game? Is it that Wednesday night game, Thanksgiving Eve? Is it the Christmas game? Is it Week 18 against Seattle? Monday night against the Bills? What Australia game? What are you picking as the game that if you were a player, a fan, whatever, you have circle on your calendar as like, okay, this is the biggest game of the year?
Man, this is all contingent on if we get Patrick Mahomes back. But man, I was a part of a game a couple of years ago in I'm blanking, but the Trojans field. What is the Trojans?
Oh, you're at the Coliseum. Yeah, that trash can for that trash university. You played a great game at a trashy university. That's right. I remember.
Mike, wasn't that game supposed to be in Mexico City, and then they moved it to?
It was supposed to be in Mexico City, but we changed it to the LA Coliseum. I think we were dealing with fires at that time. There was a bunch of stuff going on, but that game was exciting. It was like 53 to 51 or something like that. Back-to-back game. If we can have our MVP quarterback, versus another MVP quarterback on a Thursday night, I could just see in that being explosive, especially if we can get through Philly and the Bills and we're coming in. I'm not saying we're going to be undefeated going into that game, but if we can get one or two losses going into that game, I can see that being an explosive game.
Yeah, I mean, it tells you how absurdly difficult the schedule is for the Rams. According to NFL.com, right after the release, they have the Rams as the second. They ranked the 5 toughest schedules, and they put the Rams at number 2. Now, in terms of strength of schedule, we're actually 13th when you go off of the average records from last season. But they have us at number 2 because, I mean, and I understand it, right? You don't really have a second to breathe if you're the Rams, because you get one of the cupcake games, quote unquote, of the year on Monday Night Football against the Giants in week 2, but that's after you're in Australia. So a million things could happen. Again, this is an experiment that the NFL is doing. We have no idea how the Rams and Niners are going to respond after being in Australia. Then we have a stretch of Final Four team in the Broncos at Denver. That's a tough place to play. Another weird element with it being in Denver, the altitude. You get that on Sunday Night Football. Then, like Rob said, you go to Philly, which any other season would be like the biggest game of the year, and it's arguably not even in the top 5. Then you have the rematch against the Bills that was 44-42 last year, or 2 years ago. So that first 5 games, as good as the Rams are, if you told me the Rams were 2-3, I wouldn't even be stunned. It's brutal. You get a little bit of a break with the Cardinals and the Raiders.
A little bit.
Okay, but Rob, you got to play some bad teams, man. Dude,
it's a 6-week stretch. It's a 6-week stretch. Stafford's already been approved for 3 weeks vacation during that 6-week stretch. Are you kidding me? Who are they playing? Okay, they got Phoenix High School. Okay, that's in October on the 18th.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Then they got the Raiders. Yeah, we're afraid of them. Then you got your little brother. Then you got your little brother across town that sometimes can share your stadium. We don't care about them. Then they go to the Redskins. I'll never call them the Commanders.
Time out, Rob.
On this show.
Time out, Rob. I need to find something to fight with you about. And I get it. They're little bro, but you can't act like that's not a tough game. The Chargers are a good football team.
You're sure they are. Sure they are. Okay.
All right. All right.
They made the playoffs last year because Mahomes didn't make the playoffs last year. They're not a good football team, but if you believe so, they are with the Rams. Then you go to Washington. Then you come back through Phoenix High School. You play them twice, so I think it's homecoming. That game we'll see you out there. Then you got a bye week before you play the Packers. You go through that 6-week stretch, man, from October 18th until November 25th. In fact, I think we're going to pull the plug on the Rams show. I'm going to get a hold of D-Mac and those guys. No post-game wraps, nothing like that. There will be no Rams broadcast here, period, on Locked On from the 18th to the 25th. Just put them down as 6-0 in the schedule, and we'll talk to you at the end of October.
Oh, geez.
Give us 6 weeks off.
I'll tell you what Rob did. He just set himself up to be clipped up by a whole lot of,
Arizona fans?
Cold takes.
Ooh. Big Mike from Scottsdale going to come at me? I mean, come on, dude. Really?
I hope you're right. All I'm saying is, I'll tell you what. Yes, that is obviously a very easy stretch in NFL standards, but you know what it sets up? It sets up a really freaking hard 1 through 5, and then when we come back from the break, I'll tell you the stretch after that vacation because it's brutal again. So I would have liked things to be a little more hard game, easy game, hard game, easy game. Mm-hmm. Instead, you've got gauntlet, vacation, gauntlet, and I'll be honest, that scares me a little bit. I'll tell you why after our break here. We'll be right back. I'm going to fight with Rob more on the Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, today's show also brought to you by Rocket Money. Now, look, if you're like me, you've opened up your bank account, and, not Big Brock, maybe, you know how he's living. I don't know about Rob, but if you're like me, you've opened up your bank account and thought, where the heck did all my money go, right? You're not alone. Keeping track of subscriptions, spending, and bills, it can get overwhelming fast. That's where Rocket Money comes in, helping you take control of your finances all in one place. How does it help you? Well, it tracks all your subscriptions in one spot and can help you cancel the ones you don't need with just a few taps. You don't have to go onto the service that actively makes it impossible for you to cancel your subscription to do it. No, you can do it straight from Rocket Money. It automatically categorizes your spending so you can actually see where your money is going, and you can set budgets, get alerts, and stay on top of upcoming bills all in one place. It just makes everything feel more organized and gives you a clearer picture of your finances day to day. So let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/locked-on. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. Back here live on this NFL schedule release special edition of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. So many storylines because the Rams are the face of the NFL, confirmed with an NFL high 7 primetime games. And you know what? Let's pick up where we left off. Big Buska and Brock. I'm curious if Brock, whose side he takes here. If you're a player, if you're a coach, and if you're a fan that wants your team to win, I would much rather have you play the Eagles, and then you play the Commanders, and then you play the Bills, and then you play the Cardinals. Not 5 games where you go Niners, Giants after a trip to Australia, at Broncos, at Eagles, hosting the Bills. That is brutal. And then after our cupcake, which still has some good opponents. Again, the Chargers, as much as Rob, I get it, they're low bro. The Chargers are not a bad football team. Justin Herbert is him, and they're going to have a healthy offensive line. The Commanders, they were brutal last year. This is a team that was in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago, I'll remind you. But then let's talk about what you get after that vacation that ends with a bye. You've got the Packers on Thanksgiving Eve. You play, like Brock said, that historic rematch against the Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. You got Wednesday games, Thursday games. That's tough. Then you got to play the Niners at that yucky stadium, Levi Stadium, against those stupid fans. You host the Cowboys, which I hate to admit it, there's going to be a lot of stupid Cowboys fans, bandwagoners at the worst types, right? The Dodger-Cowboy combos, right? Those idiots, right? They're going to be there. Then you're at Seattle on Christmas. You're at Tampa, and then you host Seattle with the entire NFC at stake. Brock, you got to agree with me that you would much rather have every other than this gauntlet that they gave the Rams.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I mean, the way they set it up with, the gauntlet, then you get 6 weeks. I mean, if we can come out of that first 4 or 5 weeks up, I would say even if we're 3-2 going into that 6 week stretch, obviously I agree with you, Gavin, on I don't think the Chargers is just an easy game. I don't think it's a free space. But we all know how, the Chargers will crumble. At the end of the day, there's a high chance that, the Chargers have a high possibility of crumbling at the end of the game. You can see Matthew Stafford coming, down 2-minute drill, going to win the game, and that's how that game goes. But the Commanders, not really worried about the Commanders. Jaden Daniels, let's see what he looks like, coming off an injury last year. And obviously, nobody fears the Cardinals. And I'm going to just say that, and I said it last year, nobody fears the Cardinals. So, yeah, man, I like it the way they set it up because we really get a good look at what our team can do straight off the bat with it. The mental the mental rap that Shanahan has over McVay a little bit. After that game last year, where you could see in McVay's eyes, he just didn't know what happened in that game, and we can see a good view of our team first game off the rip. Then obviously, you beat the Giants. Let's get rid of them. Then Denver and Philly is your test early on. Denver, Philly, and the Bills early on. So we can get a good sense of what our team looks like. At the first half, go through that second stretch. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of like the way the schedule looks because if we're coming out of that first stretch, that first gauntlet, as you say, up 3-2, maybe 4-1. It looks good for us going down the stretch that next 6 weeks. Then, take a little vacation, get the body right, get everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then the rest of that schedule, just finish it off, man, because you know what's going to happen, man. You got to be the best. You got to beat the best, and we definitely got a lot of those on the schedule.
Hey, Russ, you had asked during that last commercial break, you don't know how Rob's living. Rob's living pretty good right now because what I did, I just put the deed to my lake cabin that I live in up here in the beautiful mountains in L.A. Up that the Rams go 6-0 during that free space stretch that they have and that they cover by at least 17.5 for every game. And just so you know, is this as well, I want you to draft Ty Simpson with your fantasy because I just got a text right here that I'm reading from Les Snead. Him and I text back and forth. I knew Simpson was getting drafted before the draft. He said, yes, Rob, we plan on starting Ty Simpson for 4 of those games, of those 6 games. Okay, the only one we'll start Stafford in is against Little Brother, but against Phoenix High School twice, against the Raiders as well, and then one more mystery game. Ty Simpson will start. So you heard it first here on the Ram Squad that Stafford's going to get some time off. I think him and Kelly and the kids will probably go to Hawaii, man, somewhere in the resorts and vacation. Why not, man? Well-deserved. You got to preserve the guy. It's load management. They take the time off in the NBA. Why not let Matt take 6 weeks off?
Come on, man.
Because it's a free space, man, on that schedule.
Rob, you're scaring me. You're scaring me. I'm not disagreeing with you that the Rams are going to be big-time favorites in 5 of those games, and they'll still be a pretty hefty,
each game.
And they'll still be a hefty favorite, or not hefty, but they'll be a 6-point favorite against the Chargers or something. But
yeah,
I don't know. As a fan, I'm one of those fans that I fear the worst, right? And there's just a scenario where, like Brock said, there's a scenario where the Rams go 4-1 in that first stretch of 5, and everyone's like, man, the Rams go 4-1 there. They go 5-1 or 6-0 in that 6-game stretch there, and this is the best team in football. Oh my goodness! But there's a scenario where you have a tough game in Australia. You don't know how you look. Not only the week after against the Giants, you might feel that trip in Australia the next 3 weeks. And sure, you get a cupcake against the Giants, but a team a couple weeks removed from being in Australia has to go to Denver in the altitude. Then they have to go to Philly. You know how much I would rather host that game than have to go to Philly? And then you got to play Josh Allen. There's a scenario where you're 2-3. And then, guess what? Even though the schedule opens up, you know what else it does? It becomes a must-go 6-0 stretch when you're 2-3, right? Or a must-go 5-1 stretch. And when there's pressure for the NFL's favorite team to win the Super Bowl and all the primetime games, it just scares me a little bit. The other thing that scares me too, Rob, is even if things are good, you go 3-2 in that first 5, 4-1, 5-0. And even if you go 5-1 or 6-0, the middle stretch, what do you want to do? And what did not happen with the Rams last season? You want to be playing your best football the last 5 or 6 weeks of the year going into the playoffs. Well, again, with the way the schedule's set up, you could somehow be killing it against that brutal gauntlet, and you could be feeling on top of the world, beating the best teams in football. Or you know what else? You could be getting beat up, man. And not saying blown out or anything, but I'm saying going through grueling fourth quarter close game after grueling fourth quarter close game with that stretch that's Packers, Chiefs, Niners, Cowboys, Seahawks, Bucks, Seahawks. And even if you make it out of that schedule healthy, and even if you make it out of that schedule in the playoffs and where you want to be, man, you're not going into the playoffs winning 5 in a row. I'll tell you that right now. And that's not a good look, Rob. So that's what scares me too, is I would much rather have that vacation be the last 5 games of the year. And you're talking about Ty
you're never going to get, I get it. You're never going to get that though, to where the last 6 games are easy for anybody. They make them that way, for must see TV drama. I get you. You know what could scare me? Yeah, well, that's second to last game at Tampa Bay, because look how they stubbed their toe within Atlanta or at Carolina, one of those NFC South places, late in the season when you could say the Rams lost, they didn't get to the Super Bowl because that play was Charbonnet, or there's several different things we talked about, but you win that game back there in the NFC South, you don't have a problem. You don't have a problem with it right there. Yeah. You allowed the Seahawks, to be able to catch you. So, but there's so much to happen between now and then. Stafford could get hurt the first game of the season. That could be it for him. He could get Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying that. I'm not throwing no juju. Don't believe in that crap. That's crackerjack stuff right there, okay? But anything can happen. Anything can happen with that. But I'm telling you, that 6-week stretch, man. Now, Snead just corrected himself. He's only starting 3 games. Okay, they're going to start Stafford, apparently, Washington, and against Little Brother. Okay, they're going to do that, but both games with Phoenix High, and then the Las Vegas Showgirls. It looks like Ty Simpson will start. And well deserved, Ty. You've looked great in these volunteer OTAs. We talked about it last week. MSN.com said the Rams were the best based on these voluntary workouts that they had. So I'm all down for Ty Simpson. Is his jerseys been circulating in LA? I haven't seen his jerseys yet. I haven't seen his jerseys yet. Yeah,
come on. No, jeez. Brock. Also, I got to say one other thing. The range in Rob Buska going from Hotlanta to that's Cracker Jack stuff in the same show. I don't know what the heck that's Cracker Jack stuff means, but the range.
Rob is hip, man. Rob is hip, bro.
No, Cracker Jack stuff ain't hip. I've never heard that in my life. Hotlanta's hip. I'll give him that, but man, the range. I love it.
You never heard that's Cracker Jack stuff.
No, I have not. I know what a Cracker Jack is.
You're 17. When you get older, you'll hear this stuff, man. We got you, young Russ.
Oh my
Handsome devil, though you are. Absolutely.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Now, Big Brock. I'm curious too. Big Brock.
Move to the right so we don't see that little soccer AYSO thing you got hanging up there. Just a little bit like this. Move your head.
Signed by the Brazilian national team. It's pretty cool. I'll leave it at that. Okay, Big Brock. Seahawks twice in 3 weeks. Take me inside what a locker room is like when you're playing the same team twice in 3 weeks. It's not playing the Cardinals or whatever Rob calls them, the Phoenix high school team. It's not playing them twice in 3 weeks. You're playing arguably the other best team in the NFC in your division that killed your souls, your hearts twice last year. You're playing them twice in a 3-week span. In the last 3 weeks of the season. If you're on that team in the locker room, if you're Sean McVay, are you happy about that? Are you nervous about that? Because that scares me as a fan. Does it scare a player having to play, your arch nemesis twice in 3 weeks?
Yeah, no, I'm the one to, especially now. If they were to ask me to come back and play in any game, I would want to come back and play in that Seahawks game, just because the rivalry. The emotion, the tit for tat, how close the games were last year. They are 2 or 3 plays away from being, the Rams going to the Super Bowl. So for me, I like it because whoever wins that first game, you get to run it back immediately. Like, obviously there's a game in between, but you get to immediately run it back and just, get your get back on that team. So I like it. I think if you got the Rams and you put those games back to back, they would want to play those games. It's just the the rivalry it is in that division. They really don't like each other. I mean, it's respect there, but it's like, hey, we taking this division this year. So, man, I like the game being close, close together like that. Now, do I want them both at the end of the season going into the playoffs? Now, maybe not, because we know how grueling them games are going to be. But, for the most part, do we love seeing Seattle anytime they're on that schedule? Most definitely as a player. You love seeing your rivalry, your rival on that schedule, especially back to back like that.
Yeah, a team that got it easy too. I was talking with some friends in the media circuit today. The Seahawks got it easy, not necessarily with their schedule and their opponents. The Seahawks got none international games. This is a fourth year in a row Seattle's been left off the international games. Now, I also know a lot of fans of those teams, having grown up in the Northwest, they're pissed off. They could have gone to London to play the Redskins. They could have played the Niners down in Mexico City. Nah, they didn't get either of those. And when I saw that announcement, I thought for sure that they were going to play the Redskins in London. I'm like, the Colts? You really? The Colts bringing Phillip Rivers back again for another cameo? I mean, come on, man. The Colts. Yeah. That game's early enough. The only way in Indianapolis fans would travel if it's cold as hell in the Hoosier State, and it's not going to be. It's going to be October. It's going to be a nice fall day, man. There ain't nobody to show up, for that game. Yeah. I don't like that one at all. The Vikings taking on the 49ers. Why didn't they penalize the Niners and Hawks and both make it a divisional game? You start the year in Australia with the divisional game, the Rams and Niners. Why not make it a Niner home game against Seattle? Bring them down into the mix a little bit. So I think the Seahawks got a bit of a pass with this. Yeah. I really do, with the amount they travel. Did you guys see the frequent flyer miles everybody's racking up? The Niners are number one. I want to say about 39,000 miles. The Rams right behind them at 35,000 miles. Most of that's going to be the trip to Australia. We know that right there. But making the trip to Mexico City, all the games back to the East Coast you have to take as well. It's not easy. Yeah. And Seattle normally has the most air miles because they're all the way up there in that little corner, isolated in the left side of the country. Yeah, but not this year. No, it's those other teams, man. But no, the Hawks got to pass.
Well, it's funny. I certainly get your argument. NFL.com says the third hardest schedule in terms of how it all worked out behind the Rams was the Seahawks. So I guess they disagree, but
because they play the top two teams in the NFC, right? Exactly. Just by virtue of record. What's interesting is that they don't have the Niners in the top five. They have it as the Cardinals having the toughest. Duh. You play the three of the best teams in NFL in your division. Rams 2, Seahawks 3. They have the Chargers at 4. Apparently they suck, according to Rob. The schedule might make it look like they do. And then the Cowboys, which is an interesting one as well. Now, Rob, he jumped the gun because he's so dang excited. I'm not surprised. When we come back, it's time for let's talk international games with Rob. I know it's all he wants to talk about. So after the break, we'll do that. We'll talk about the international games. And I'm gonna have a couple trivia questions as well. I want to see if they can guess. So we'll play some trivia as well after we get back from our last break here on this live special edition of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. We'll be right back. Now, finally, today's show is brought to you by Kalshi. Now, you know what Kalshi is by now. It's all over the news, right? It is where you can buy, trade, or sell your positions on just about anything, but obviously live sports being why we're talking about it. I talk about it on my Angels postcast, how, when, for example, the Yankees are playing and they're trading at 59% probability to win a game, it means that if you bought their position to win at $100, you have a $188 payout. It's where you can buy or sell positions live. And what makes it so great is there's no house, unlike that other stuff, right? There's no house taking away from you. And if you, in the middle of the game, in the middle of the week, if you don't like the position you're in, you can sell your position before the game and still maybe profit, right? So make sure you're using code LOCKEDON on Kalshi to get that boost right away. Kalshi, 18 plus only. Restrictions do apply. Now, when you trade, you have to understand all the risks and stuff as well. It does involve risk. So keep that in mind with Kalshi.
Back here live, NFL schedule release special edition of the Locked On Rams Squad Show. I told you that the Rams are the fates of the NFL. If you don't know why, by this point in the show, you're living under a rock, man. The most primetime games. The schedule is brutal, but it's brutal because we're the Rams, and we are the face of the league. Okay, so that's the good thing. I will say, as we've talked about, it's a schedule that if you're one of those fans who has that mentality, I think someone said in the comment section of to be the best, you got to beat the best. Well, certainly this schedule is the schedule for you. If you're a fan like me who thinks of the worst case scenario in every game because you're just nervous, this is a terrifying schedule. Now, in addition to the Rams, plenty of other storylines. Rob, I know you're very interested in the international slate. You mentioned the Niners going to Mexico City. It's very interesting that they get 2 international games. Personally, I think that Baltimore-Dallas game? That's a pretty juicy international game. Rob, the floor is yours to talk about the international slate.
9 games, an NFL record. Niners have 2 of them. First time we've gone to Australia. Now we're in Madrid. You're playing there. It's the second time it's happened in Madrid, but Week 9. Look, I want to talk about the bad stuff first with that. Joe Burrow and the Bengals, which Burrow's not going to play either. Burrow's already hurt himself, so he'll be out for Week 9, in that game. Taking on the Falcons, who are we going to get in that game for Atlanta to show up? I mean, my God, Bijan Robinson and friends with that Falcon squad, man. So, I don't know. Not digging that game to be able to watch. The London schedule bores me completely. Jacksonville. The Tottenham Stadium, wherever it is, man, they decide they want to play Wembley Stadium. So it's really not doing a whole lot for me, this international schedule this year. I will say one thing that I did like, and it made me restore my faith in the NFL a little bit. I love the fact that they're playing in Paris. Paris will be cool to be able to play a game there, and it's with the French-based New Orleans Saints, all right, the Creole kids going over there and play. Yeah. But do you remember when that leaked, guys, a month ago? Yeah, we young Russ is Creole. Yeah, absolutely. There he is. Are you going? You gonna take your imaginary girlfriend over there and propose to her like we talked about?
We're not doing this again, Rob. Continue with the rest of what you're saying.
All right. Mike and I will help you with the down payment with the ring. Mike and I will help you if you need down payment with the ring. Okay. He's got NFL money. He's got NFL money. I got gambling money, but regardless, man, that game, who was it leaked that they were going to play forever? And it came out of left field. They were going to play the Browns.
Yeah, Cleveland.
And you were like, what the hell are you doing? What is Cleveland ever doing? Heading 1 foot east of New York City. And then it comes out as the Steelers. I'm like, okay. That was actually the biggest surprise of the NFL schedule to me. I did hear the Dolphins were going to Mexico City, so I was a bit surprised it was the Minnesota Vikings, who I think is a better matchup than taking Miami there. I mean, Miami got raided of their coach, basically everybody but Devon Achane, who signed a big deal, the other day. But I like that the Niners have 2 pretty good opponents. The Rams, of course, and Minnesota, who can jump up and beat them down there, and to be able to beat them and have that be a home game for San Francisco, 1 less game on the schedule, I think bodes well for the Rams too. But this Madrid stuff, man, and the London stuff, I'm going to snooze my way all the way through it, not having it. The French game I'll watch just to see what happens, with the Saints and parlez-vous français, man. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
I disagree with you a little bit, Rob, because I think outside of the London slate, me and Rob are disagreeing a lot. Yeah, there we go. Outside of the London slate, I was actually surprised by the slate because I thought that they gave better games than you'd expect. I feel like typically they kind of want to just throw cruddy games international because they know no matter what, everyone's going to go in that country and everyone's going to watch for the spectacle. And you're telling me we get the Patriots against the Lions. That's a big game. Now,
I didn't bring that one up. That's a good one.
I don't know. Right. I will Vrabel be able to fly Diana Rossini out to Germany? I don't know, but
he's still getting slugs, man.
But Patriots Lions, that's a big game. I think you're underestimating, Rob.
I miss that game. Russ. I'll give you that.
And I think you're underestimating this Bengals-Falcons game because,
come on. I love you to death, kid, but come on, dude.
No, listen.
Burrow's not playing. Burrow is not playing. Half of the ATL team, like I said, they had the late night at the Tattletale. They'll be arrested and won't even make the flight. They'll miss their flight.
Listen, I'll tell you why. I understand it from an actual like teams that are going to compete standpoint, whatever. But from a excitement standpoint, from a fan, this is a game where you get. These are two of the classic teams in the NFL that they have all the flashiness, right? It's Bijan and it's Kyle Pitts and it's Drake London and it's Jamar Chase and it's Joe Burrow and it's T. Higgins. There's going to be a bunch of points. These are two teams that always know how to blow games, too. So one of these two teams is going to be up 14 points and blow it in the fourth. And the people in Madrid are going to love it. And the people watching will laugh and have a good time. So I think
there's a difference. There's a difference, young Russ, between entertaining and a good football. Entertaining and good football. It'll be entertaining. I'll give you that. Will it be good football? Who's going to watch all four quarters? You ain't going to watch all four quarters.
I will watch all four quarters because it's going
to be in the morning, and your girlfriend's going to want you to go get coffee or bagels or something, and you'll blow the game off because it's not that good of an international game anyway. Come on, you're right. You're right though about the Munich game. I did leave the Lions off, but do you see Brock how he casually said, "Well, aside from the London slate, yeah, that's only 8 of the 9 international games is over there." Dude, Jacksonville's 7-7. They played 14 games in London alone. That's a season. They played an NFL Jaguars. Season over there. That's
I know they're the London Jaguars. I get it. And yes, those games. I mean, the Eagles being in London is interesting because I could see those annoying Eagles fans go out there and be annoying over there. The Texans game, that'll be a boring one. And right. Commanders Colts is boring. I'll give you that. I think the biggest kind of spectacle by far, in my opinion, Ravens Cowboys in Brazil. Man, that's Brock. You been to Brazil?
I haven't been to Brazil.
Me neither. Maybe we need to do a Locked On Rams squad show trip to Brazil because you get to go to Rio and watch that game. That's pretty intriguing to me.
Can you wear your jersey behind you? Can you take the Brazilian national jersey?
There you go. And if I wear it, they'll think I'm Brazilian because even the soccer players on the team thought I was Brazilian. That's why I got all the signatures. But
the one thing you said about Diana Rossini, the Patriots are catching a break with this game being over there in Munich, Germany. I was over there a couple of years ago. The only other game they played in Munich, Germany. It was Brady's, I think, last year with Tampa Bay when he beat the Seahawks over there. And
he's about to say something crazy. Here we go.
Right, no. And going over there, let's say the Rossini stuff doesn't have all the traction that we have because we love smut here in America. We do. We love to talk about it. We love to drudge it up. You think they care about over that? No, they're just trying to build the next German car, man, to win them, some Grand Prix, somewhere of Monaco. Okay, they're talking about the Porsches and the Audis and the Beamers and the Mercedes. Mike Vrabel's not all over their news. And to get that game out of Detroit's one of my favorite cities in the world. It is an absolute hole. It is a dive. I'm that kind of guy. You take me to Tennessee. I don't want to go where all the white Orange County girls go. That's called Nashville. You give me the absolute hood in Memphis. I'm a hood rat kind of guy like that. I will roll in Memphis all day long. What do you think it's going to be like going to Detroit? Going to Detroit with Mike Vrabel? Mike Vrabel getting hounded by those Lions fans? Oh, my God. That would have been amazing to see. That would have been amazing. We should start a GoFundMe page for some Lions fans to go over to Munich and to just cause a ruckus right there. Can you start that up, Gav? You're really good with this technology. I'll kick in right now. I got some money. I'll Venmo you.
Well, but apparently you put it all on the Rams going, 18-0. So, and there's not even 18 games. So.
Those 6 games are going 6-0. Win them all by 17. Told you.
Jeez. I think the rest of the league will make sure to clown Vrabel plenty. I don't know if you saw that. They actually put out a memo. Put out a memo telling the NFL teams that they are not going to penalize them if they, in any way comment on the Vrabel stuff. And so then the Chargers immediately went and in their schedule release mentioned Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel in their schedule release when they brought up the Patriots game. So hilarious. I actually haven't even seen it yet, but I want to go. I'm going to go right after this show and go watch it and see that. I think it would be hilarious. Now we're gonna wrap this one up shortly. What I will say is I feel bad for Brock because in this show he felt like the child with the two parents fighting. Rob and I are yelling at each other, and Brock's just sitting there like a good
other weekend. I get every other weekend in Thanksgiving. Yeah,
he's just sitting there behaving.
Tuesday at 5, pick him up Thursday at 4.
While we're fighting, poor Brock. Any last words? I think we have a fun opportunity now. Next week, I think we'll at either Monday or Wednesday, we'll go game by game and make our way too early predictions on how the Rams do. Clearly, we disagree about the strength of schedule. So I think that'll be a fun one. But any last words, Big Brock? We'll start with you since Rob's talked enough. I've talked enough. Any last thoughts on this schedule? Anything that stands out? How excited are you to see what the Rams are going to do in 2026, man?
I love the fact that the Rams are the face of the league. We're now the LeBron of the league. People want to see us. So we're a high commodity, high ticket item. But I do think that we got more in the tank, man. Those last 2 games, TBD might get flexed. We might end up having 9 primetime games at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So excited about that. I go back to that Chiefs game, man. I can see that being a big game. We get Patty Mahomes back versus Matthew Stafford. I can see that game, going each way. Maybe, you got Duffy playing against his former team, Duffy, playing against his team. So I can see that game being in the 50s both ways. So excited to see, what happens.
And I can see Ty Simpson going 3 for 3 against Phoenix High and the Las Vegas Showgirls and throwing for 1,000 yards. Ty Simpson will win Rookie of the Year and only starting 3 games this year. You put it down, Rams fans, because Stafford's already off.
Well, Eddie says he better not be Bart Simpson, because if he is, we're going to get clowned. I'll tell you that much. One thing that I'll say, too, is as someone who is a non-LA resident Rams fan, man, what a year to be a non-resident LA Rams fan, because you don't even need NFL Sunday ticket. Half the dang schedule is on national TV. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful. So that'll be.
But you got to pay for it. You need 3 jobs to pay for it, because one's on Netflix, one's on Prime, another one's on Netflix. Can I borrow your guys' password? I got all my money wrapped up in this 6-0 plus 17 on the spread.
Oh man, I hope you're right. I hope you are right. Now, we are going to wrap this one up. Shout out to everybody in here live. As always, leave those likes, comments, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, appreciate the patience. I know we typically go Wednesday night. We were like, you know what? Screw it. Let's wait. Why are we not going to go live after the schedule drops? Because there's no way we're going to do a show yesterday and then have to wait all the way until Monday to talk about this schedule. So decided to do this instead. I think it worked out quite nicely. But we'll see you back here on Monday night. Like I said, we might go game by game and fight about how well the Rams are going to do in 2026. But again, like Brock said, there's one thing for sure. The Rams are the face of the NFL, and we love to see that. Oh, by the way, if you forgot to mention, we're hosting the Super Bowl, and we're going to be in it, too. That's pretty cool as well. So we're going to wrap this one up. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Whose house? Rams house. Whose squad? The Mob Squad, the Locked On Rams Squad show. Signing off. We'll see you on Monday. Take care. And go Rams.
Do I amuse you?